fantastic line. I must say, Coventry devotees sang nicely and really made it lift the. So they were waiting for people saying, "Are you going to sing later on?" So people go did very well. Give them a big round of applause, please. And Bruce Sarah, Switzerland, and others. Yeah, they all did good. And Shravan got involved with the Pahandi and playing the dole and everything like that. So it was very well, nicely attended.
So thank
So
you for
thank you for
coming
coming
today.
today.
And
And
Srimad
Srimad
Bhagavatam,
Bhagavatam,
people have
people
heard of
have heard of
Bhagavad
Bhagavad
Gita.
Gita.
And then
And then
Bhagavatam,
Bhagavatam,
sometimes they
sometimes they
just
just
relate it
relate
to the
it to the
Saptah.
Saptah.
But
But
people
people
actually
actually
don't
don't
read the
read the
Bhagavatam.
Bhagavatam.
Many do.
Many
It
do.
used
It
to be
used to be
called
called
Sukh Sagar as
Sagar as
well.
well.
My
My
father used to
father
read
used
it
to
called
read
Sukh
called Sukh
Sagar. He
Sagar.
would
He
read
would
them.
read them.
So there's
So there's many
prasangs in
prasangs in
there
there.
and different avatars mentioned. And we didn't realize actually Bhagavatam is all about Krishna. It's all about Krishna being the highest. And so from these lectures which are going to be presented, you will be able to see yourself that of all like Narayan, Vamandev, Narsingadev, all those you know, in the end you realize the great souls mentioned in Bhagavatam are all glorifying Krishna. So we are born in a Hindu family, so we are familiar with many avatars. And we always thought, okay, maybe the Krishna followers say he's the highest. But Bhagavatam is saying it definitely. Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. Swayam is, you are the Supreme Lord. So, and it doesn't mean that we ignore the avatars. Yeah, you got to recognize the Lord comes at different times. And, you know, whenever yada yada hi dharmasya, all the whenever this time, and, you know, he comes. Now, Srila Prabhupada went to America and he took with him, I think, 2 or 3 volumes of Bhagavatam, the early first canto, and that's all he had in the trunk. That was his treasure. Later on, he wrote the Bhagavad Gita. And Bhagavad Gita has become so popular and made so many devotees. And this Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada had already written the introduction we were reading the other day. And I remember reading Bhagavatam introduction. It was all about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when I read it, I was thinking, and that time I didn't know much about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when I read it all, I was just thinking, why about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? This is about Krishna. But it's Krishna coming as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani. Because Radharani is like a mother. She's kind to all. Krishna is like the father. He sees who's right, who's wrong. But mother doesn't say right or wrong. Says, "Ye hamara hai." Yeah. Mother always is, merciful. Oh, forget whatever it is. Yeah. Forgive him. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to save us. And 500 years ago, he demonstrated, he used to hear the Bhagavatam regularly. Gadadhar Pandit, who's connected with him, he used to read the Bhagavatam. And they would glorify Prahlad Maharaj, 5-year-old boy, Prahlad Maharaj. Dhruv Maharaj, 5-year-old boy. They would glorify those pastimes. Even Yudhishthira used to like Prahlad Maharaj, 5-year-old boy. He was so determined to chant the holy name of the Lord and remember the Lord. And even Parikshit Maharaj, who's the listener of Bhagavatam, Sukhdev is speaking the Bhagavatam. Parikshit Maharaj, he had 7 days left to live. That's it, guaranteed that he was going to, Takshat would come, bite him, and he will leave. So he said, what should I do in these few days? But we'll hear about that later on. Even he's mentioned when he's 5-year-old boy, he used to play with Krishna deities and dolls and all that. In the 2nd canto, it describes like that. So I've read it a few times, but recently I've just realized, oh my God, right from the beginning, all the stories which are there, they all glorifying Krishna. Kunti is glorifying Krishna. Bhishmadama is glorifying Krishna. Vidur is glorifying Krishna, right in the beginning. So you think it's the 10th canto where Krishna is described, Dasma Skanda, wahan pe karte hain. Right from the beginning, Krishna is being glorified by Kunti, and Bhishmadama. He was going to die, but he wanted Krishna to come at the last moment, so he's looking at Krishna and then leaves the planet. So we should learn how important is Bhagavatam. Otherwise, you'll think it's another Purana or Granth like that. If you understand the Bhagavatam, when we leave, all you got to do is do what Parikshit Maharaj did, focus on Krishna. Because you would have actually established in your heart, I want to know Krishna. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu added another little element, Radha Rani as well. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita is Radha Krishna, not just Krishna on his own. So we're hoping to get an idea, overall idea. If they have questions, they save it till the end? Okay. So if you have any questions, write down. So if you have any notepads, yeah, and then write them down on the side. You can always ask questions. And today, it's nearly 5:45 because of the Rath Yatra. We got delayed a little bit. And we're not doing any kirtans. And then even the arti will be behind the curtains because we want to put 2 hours in. Is everybody okay with that? But today, you know, because to glorify Krishna is also kirti. Kirtan is not just always with symbols and all that. To glorify the Lord. So Bhagavatam is glorifying Krishna. So slightly different Sunday. So then Monday to Saturday, it's going to be 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock. And there'll be prasadam as well. Simple prasadam. Be sadhus for 7 days, yeah. And but Rutuj is excited. On Tuesday is pasta, isn't it? Is it Wednesday? Sorry, he's already memorized the... He likes pasta. So it's Krishna's pastimes. So there's devotees, they're excited by the whole thing. And whenever you're ready, I'm going to pass the mic to you.
You can say if you want.
Okay.
First day.
Okay, you can tell them all. And they'll make notes and all that. If you have questions, you do that. Now, the good news is there's no exam at the end of the 7th day. Okay. But...
Bhakti Vedanta together with no exam.
Yeah, but we'll give you a certificate that you've had 7 days of hearing. That's all. You haven't done anything. You just heard. We'll give you a certificate. Now, ISKCON GBC is proposing that everybody does Bhakti Shastri. With Bhakti Shastri, you read different books, and then you can get initiated. So this is very important that you appreciate what Bhagavatam has got. And these exams are very nice. You know, they really are. You actually realize how much you know. You can say, I believe in God, but that's one statement. But to really know details, you know, and then it changes your heart as well. When you know the pastimes of Krishna really nicely, it changes your heart. Because you don't have to go through difficulties. The Lord has already done pastimes. So whenever you're in difficulties, you just remember how the Pandavas coped with it, how Kunti Mata coped with it, and then you realize, you remember how they did it. You don't have to do anything. Because you've memorized the event, it gives you strength to face the challenges. All right, he's in place. Can we have the other mic? This one is small holder. Where's Guru Prem gone? Oh, no, Prem Prakash, sorry. Huh? Do you know how to connect a mic to the... I think at the back there. In the meantime, if you want to address them by holding in the hand, we'll try to get it.
I just want to hear some Kartal.
Kartal. These are new ones from Mayapur. I'm getting somebody who can put it here. No, it's a small one. Oh, it's broken. Yeah, he'll let him do seva.
Okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Everybody. गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यमुना तीरा यमुना तीरा बनचाही जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Radhe Shyam Jaya Radhe Shyam Jaya Radhe Shyam Jaya Radhe Shyam Loudly Jaya Vrindavan Dham 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 Jaya Vrindavan Jaya Giri Govardhan 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 Jaya Nitai Gaura Chandra Jaya Nitai Gaura Chandra Jaya Nitai Gaura Chandra Jaya Nitai Gaura Chandra Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Srila Gurudev ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयत्मुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः जन्मादियस्य यतन्वयादितरतश्चार्तेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्मरधयादिकवये मूयन्ति यत् सूरया तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धर्मा प्रोजितकैतवत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापोत्रयोन्मूलनं श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा पररीश्वरा सद्योर्दयवृद्धि अत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तक्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरवो रसिका भुवि भावुका ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नित्यानन्दमहं नौमि सर्वानन्दकरं परं हरिनामाप्रदं देवम् अवधूताशिरोमणिम् आनन्दलीलामय विग्रहाय हेमाम्बदिव्यछविसुन्दराय तस्मै महाप्रेमरसाप्रदाय चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्ण भक्तरूपास्वरूपकं भक्तावतार भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः. So before I begin the narration of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, I want to offer my respectful obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas, and I wish to seek your good wishes and blessings for this service. And also I want to sincerely thank Haridas Prabhu for giving this opportunity to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam, and thank you Vidura Prabhu, thank you so much. This for the first time I'll be speaking in 7 days in English. I've done that in Hindi, but for the 7 days in English, the whole of Bhagavatam. So I have few requests before we begin. I don't want any phones to be ranged in the class.
We can mute them all.
Because if you want to move, if you have plans to not sit in the entire class, prefer getting up from sitting somewhere there so that it's easy for you, because it is going to distract me. I'm very sorry, but yeah, because we are going to discuss about so many subject matters. Today I need to cover 53 subject matters, 53 topics. 53 chapters. You need to understand, I need cooperation from your side. So all the phones, please, if you can put on silent mode.
Can you open that door? So if somebody wants to go on the male side, they just go through there rather than in front of them.
Yeah.
Could also just those are sitting here, it's 2 hours, so we have cushions. If you're more comfortable with the cushion.
Somebody can close that door also. There's noise coming from there. Hare Krishna. Bhagavatam ki jai. Yeah, you can keep it there. Okay. And I'll request no chanting while class is going on. It's an offense to the holy name and offense to Bhagavatam. So, Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam begins with the first 3 verses which we just recited. And those verses are narrated by Srila Vyasadeva. They are written by Vyasadeva. This is Mangalacharan by Vyasadeva. And after narrating the Mangalacharan, the whole discussion starts with the Sutta Goswami Pad. Sripada Sutta Goswami, he's with the rishis of Naimisharanya. That needs to be closed. He's sitting in with Naimisharanya with the rishis of 88,000 rishis. Sutta Goswami Pad is a disciple of Srila Vyasadeva. Sutta Goswami Pad is a personality who got an opportunity, got a fortune to hear the entire Srimad Bhagavatam from Srila Shukadeva Goswami. When Shukadeva Goswami was narrating Srimad Bhagavatam to Maharaj Parikshit, Sutta Goswami was sitting next to him and hearing the entire narration from Shukadeva Goswami. And Shukadeva Goswami's focus was not only on Maharaj Parikshit, but his focus was also on Sutta Goswami Pad. Because Parikshit was going to depart to the abode of the Lord. And it was Sutta Goswami Pad who was going to narrate the entire Srimad Bhagavatam again to the rishis of Naimisharanya. So Shukadeva Goswami gave a lot of attention to Sutta Goswami as well. So Sutta Goswami Pad, he is a very elevated Vaishnava, not an ordinary Vaishnava. 88,000 rishis, they gathered together in Naimisharanya for what purpose? The purpose was world peace. They were concerned about the people in general, the population in general, because Krishna has departed and the Kali Yuga has started, and Kali Yuga has started showing its influence. So they wanted that there should be some arrangement by which there is all auspiciousness all around. So rishis of Naimisharanya, they gathered together. 88,000 rishis, it's not easy. 88,000 rishis, they gathered at Naimisharanya with one cause. The cause was world peace. And they were aware that world peace can be achieved only by taking shelter of Krishna. But why did they start doing yajna? And why did they stop abruptly? Can you imagine? You started a sacrifice, a sacrifice which was supposed to go on for 1,000 years. And that sacrifice was abruptly stopped because of one person arrives on the scene. That means you can understand how valuable that personality is. When rishis of Naimisharanya were engaged in doing that sacrifice, at that time, Sutta Goswami comes there. And as soon as they see Sutta Goswami, they stop their sacrifice. And they said amongst each other that there is no need for this endeavor anymore. Because why? Because we have got the association of Sutta Goswami Pad and Mahabhagavata. So now let us take shelter of Sutta Goswami Pad. That's what they are saying. So someone might ask, what was the reason why such an great effort was put that all of them they congregated together and such yajna was started? There was a pre-discussion on this actually, that when such great souls they come, we should stop the yajna and they should take shelter and hear Harikatha from such a great Vaishnava. Previously as well, in the ancient times, a lot of sacrifices were performed so that sadhus can be attracted. Whenever there is sacrifice, there is an event, sadhus used to come, and then there is an opportunity to hear from them the glories of Lord Shri Krishna. In the first chapter, Shaunagadi rishis, they glorified Sutta Goswami, they give him an elevated seat, and they glorify Sutta Goswami Pad. And they had full faith in and understanding that Suta Goswami Pada is a bona fide Vaishnava, in a bona fide representative of Vyasadeva. And that's why they asked 6 questions to Suta Goswami Pada. What is the ultimate benefit for mankind? For what reason did Lord Krishna take birth from Devaki? Describe the wonderful deeds of Lord Krishna when he assumed the forms of Brahma, Rudra, etc. For what purpose? For the purpose of creating, maintaining and destroying of the universe. Then can you please fully describe the activities of Lord Hari's incarnation in the universe? And where has religion taken shelter that Krishna has retired to his own abode? Now where is the religion? And then Suta Goswami, before he replies, he offers prayers to his guru, that is Shukadeva Goswami. And then he begins replying to them. Suta Goswami begins describing the relevance of the sage's inquiry. It is very important that when you get association of such great personalities, you have proper inquiries with you. Otherwise you say to him, oh, this person has said this person has said that. That is not sadhu sangha. Barack Obama said this, Shonakji said this, this happened today in India. So all these things to a sadhu is not appropriate. When you get association of sadhus, it's very important you ask questions which are related to your benefit and how can one get out from the cycle of birth and death. That is the main inquiries. And we should very closely and carefully observe the character and personality of a sadhu, and we should build our character and our personality based on his character. That is sadhu sangha. That is sadhu sangha. So he was stressing the importance of the process of self-realization and its goal. What is the goal of self-realization? Is devotional service to Krishna. And Suta Goswami further explains that since Krishna is the absolute truth, one must all satisfy Krishna by devotional service. And then the gradual progression of the consciousness as one overcomes the effects of mode of nature and attains pure devotional service to proper hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam. By regular hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, all the contamination in the heart is removed. That's why Srila Prabhupada established this process of Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. There is a process of Shaptaha Shravan, right, which we are doing this. But this is also part of Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. We're not stopping Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya is there, is going on. Prabhupada emphasized that every day Srimad Bhagavatam has to be discussed. That's why he started that every day, even every morning there should be Srimad Bhagavatam classes. He emphasized on this point, and that's why he elaborately wrote purports, commentaries on every verse. Imagine a situation where this personality was traveling across the globe. And then he had no time. So during the night, he used to get up early in the morning and he used to write commentaries on Bhagavatam. For what purpose? So that in the future, the Hare Krishna devotees will take advantage of these writings and discuss and churn the subject matter. Unfortunately, Hare Krishna devotees have no time for Bhagavatam. I'm sorry. But we have no time for Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is food for soul. Just like we need food for nourishment of the body. We might be healthy or we might be sick. In both the circumstances, we need food. But the food for soul is Srimad Bhagavatam. It's Krishna's name, Krishna's fame, Krishna's pastimes. This is all in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Suta Goswami Pada explains that Lord Krishna's position is beyond the modes of material nature and therefore instructs that those serious about liberation worship him only. For the goal of our life is attaining the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. And this chapter ends with a description of how the Lord, through his transcendental, how the Lord, the Supreme Lord, is transcendental to the material world, and how he first creates the material universe, material world, and how he maintains it. Then, in the 3rd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, there are Krishna is the source of all the incarnations. He describes one after another Narada, Vyasa, and so many different incarnations are mentioned by Suta Goswami Pada. And after describing all the various incarnations, he comes to a point where he says, Ete chanchakala pumsam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. He's saying that all the incarnations which I have listed right now, they're all Ete chanch. They are Krishna's Ansha or Anshas of Ansha. of Lord Shri Krishna. Ete chansa kala pumsam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Who is the supreme? The Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. This is not just confirmed in Bhagavatam, but this is also confirmed elsewhere also in Brahma Samhita, Ishvara, Parama, Krishna, Satchitananda, Vigraha, Anadir, Adir, Govinda, Sarva Karanam, Karanam. Lord Shiva says that, Brahmaji says that, all the Vedas says, all the Shastras says, in Bhagavad Gita Lord says also. Vedeja sarvera ahameva vedyam. From the Vedas I am to be known. I am the personality to be known from the Vedas. But it's our misfortune, that we don't... our human life is wasted and we don't make our efforts in taking shelter of Lord Shri Krishna. And further, he also describes, Sutta Goswami also describes that Srimad Bhagavatam has appeared in this world. When Lord Krishna departed for his own abode, what happened? Krishna comes in this world for a purpose. What is his purpose? Krishna has a mission to perform. When Krishna comes in this world, his mission is to attract all the conditioned souls towards him. Right? And that's his mission. So he comes here, performs pastimes, and people, devotees, they see his pastimes, they get attracted, they fell in love with him. And they go back. So one might say, how is his mission going on now? His mission is going on now. Krishna Swadhama Pagade Dharma Gyana Dibisaha Kalau Nashtam Rashadesha Puranarko Adanoditaha. Lord Sri Krishna has, this is Bhagavatam. One might say, what am I lifting? This is Bhagavatam. This is my traveling deity. I travel with it all over the world. And so this is, Srimad Bhagavatam has appeared. Srimad Bhagavatam and Krishna, they are not different from each other. Just like Krishna takes various incarnations, right? Which are the incarnations? Kurma, Varaha, Matsya, Ramachandra, Parshurama, and so many incarnations he takes. Similarly, Lord Krishna appears in this age of Kali in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. And how does the mission of the Lord continues? The devotees of the Lord, they glorify Krishna's name, fame, pastimes from the Bhagavatam. They broadcast the glory. Srila Prabhupada broadcasted the glories of Lord Krishna, his name, his fame, his pastime from Srimad Bhagavatam. And Lord Krishna's glories are so powerful. Bhagwan ki kirti mein, Bhagwan ke yash mein itna shakti hai, itna samarthya hai. When conditioned souls, when they hear about Krishna, they become devotees. This is how powerful Srimad Bhagavatam is. It's not different from Krishna. So Sutta Goswami establishes that Srimad Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samitam. This Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. He establishes that while he describes about the Krishna as the various source of all the incarnations. And then comes the description about Veda Vyasji. Veda Vyas was a personality who just appeared for writing scriptures. Krishna is so caring for us. He's so caring, Krishna is so caring, that he appeared himself, Shaktyavesh, he empowered a personality who could just write scriptures for us. This Bhagavatam, this Bhagavad Gita, these are not man-made. These are apaurushaya. It's a non-man-made. No one can make up such things. This is apaurushaya, transcendental. So, Veda Vyas, he wrote so many varieties of scriptures. He divided one Vedas into 4. Then he wrote Upanishads and so many different literatures. Then he wrote 18 Puranas. And after 18 Puranas were compiled, then he compiled Mahabharata. And after Mahabharata was compiled, Veda Vyas became very sad. He was very sad, he was morose. He's saying, what is going on? I'm feeling dissatisfied in my heart. What is my problem? And that time Narad Muni comes there. And Narad Muni says to him that you did a great job by writing a great literature called as Mahabharata. You all can come in the front. There is a lot of space here. Please come in the front here. There is a lot of space. There is no need to make khichdi there. Please come here. Come ahead.
Some of you come.
Come here. Use the space very well. So, Vedavyasji, he especially, he was very sad, and then he did not realize what is going on with him. Why is he sad? Imagine an author who has compiled so many books. There are authors who write so many books on encouraging people, you can win, you can become millionaire, this and that. But they themselves are losers in their life. Because they are addicted to drugs, meat eating, intoxication, drinking. That's their life. And they address other people that who can win. Huh? But here is a personality who is genuinely concerned about welfare of the people. And he has written so many books, so many literatures. If we say any scriptures which is written, it is written by Vedavyas. Any Puranas, Vedavyas. Upanishads, Vedavyas. Vedas, Vedavyas. Mahabharata, Vedavyas. Scriptures means Vedavyas. And when Vyasadeva was sad at that time, Narad Muni came there to help him. We as sincere devotees, if while sincerely practicing, we are sincerely trying to practice Krishna consciousness, but if there is a time in our life that we are sad, we are affected by something, then Krishna sends help in the form of devotees. So Narad Muni came there, and as soon as Narad Muni came there, Vedavyas stood up, offered respects, paid obeisances, worshipped him, and inquired from him, my dear Naradji, please guide me. Why am I despondent? Why am I sad? Why am I morose? I have written so many literatures, but I am still sad. So Naradji is saying that, my dear Vedavyas, thank you so much for writing Mahabharata. But still, you did not compile that literature which exclusively talks about pure devotional service. You have written so many literatures for so many classes of men. Fine, but you have not written a literature which will relish devotees of the Lord. So please write that literature. Please write Srimad Bhagavatam. And Narad Muni gave him Chaturshloki Bhagavat. And Vedavyas was able to meditate on that. And then he was able to write Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Narad Muni, to help Vedavyas realize what happens of the glories of the association of devotees, he narrated his own life, previous life. How did he become Narad Muni? Narad Muni in his previous life was a Dasi Putra. He was a son of a maid servant. And his mother used to serve in a Brahmana's family. And this Brahmana's family, during the Chaturmasya time, often the great sadhus used to come and reside there. So 4 great personalities, four sadhus, Bhaktivedantas, they happened to come and spend time there in the Brahmana's house, in whose house Narad Muni's mother was serving them. So Narad Muni got an opportunity to associate with these great personalities, hear from them. Imagine a very little boy, around 3, 4, 5 years old, that the age of when he has to go and play around, if he is very sincerely sitting in a Bhagavatam class and listening, it gives a lot of encouragement. And these Bhaktivedantas, they're very happy, they're very pleased to see that such a young boy was listening very carefully, asking questions, inquiring, and then they also gave him their own remnants. When we get the remnants of a sadhu, that purifies our whole existence. Sadhus Charnamrita, sadhus Uchishta are very, very powerful. And this little boy, he got initiated from this sadhus. And then when they left, Narad Muni's mother, when the sadhus left, Narad Muni spent time with his mother, but his mother left the body. And then Narad Muni decided he's all alone now, and he decided to walk towards the north, towards Badrika Ashram. And while on his way, he came across a place. He was tired. He was walking. He was walking across so many cities, factories, so many factories and so many big palaces and big villages, cities passed by, and he finally reached a place where under a banyan tree he sat very peacefully, and he meditated on the Supreme Lord's form, which was narrated to him by the Bhakti Vedantas. And he was thinking of the Lord, and the Lord's form appeared in his heart. The sadhus described to him how the Lord is. So Narad Muni, he meditated on the transcendental form of the Lord, and as soon as he was meditating on that form, the Lord appeared in his heart. The Lord gave him darshan. And then he disappeared. And as soon as he disappeared, this little boy, if you give something to him and then take it away, how will he be? He'll become bewildered. I want it, he'll cry for it. So this little boy got darshan of the Lord and immediately it disappeared. So the little boy was crying and crying and crying. And then the Lord again spoke to him. The Lord said to him that, my dear Narada, my little boy, in this lifetime you won't be able to see my darshan again. So, giving up all the formalities of the material world, oh little boy, go and preach my glories all around the globe. What did he say? How to preach? The Lord said, giving up all the formalities of the material world. Go and preach my glories. We have so many formalities. The Lord is instructing Narad Muni this way. We should fearlessly and boldly spread the glories of the Lord. And what happened? Narad Muni followed that, and this little boy followed that, and when he gave up his body, he became Narad Muni. He got a body of a Narad Muni. So that is a discussion between Veda Vyas and Narad Muni. And then further comes the Shaunagadi Rishis. They inquire about what happened with Parikshit Maharaj. They wanted to know in detail about Parikshit because Suta Goswami has associated with Parikshit Maharaj. Suta Goswami has sat in that assembly where Shukdeva Goswami spoke to Maharaj Parikshit. But Suta Goswami, while describing that, he changes the subject matter. He starts speaking about the son of Drona, Ashwathama, the son of Drona. He sent 5 Brahmastras to kill the Pandavas. And somehow the Pandavas were in a helpless situation and they took shelter of Krishna, and Krishna with the Sudarshan Chakra, he protected all the 5 Brahmanas, all the 5 Pandavas. All the Pandavas, they were protected by Lord Krishna. 5 Brahmastras were nullified by Sudarshan Chakra. These nuclear bombs, which we have today, which one country threatens another country, those nuclear bombs, if we compare to Brahmastra, they're like Lavangi. Small Sutali bomb rehta na? How that small is, Brahmastra is very, very powerful. Brahmastra has a capacity to finish the universe, destroy the whole planet. That's how powerful Brahmastra used to be. And then the son of Drona was punished. Arjuna started chasing Ashwathama and he brought him back. He handed over to Draupadi because Ashwathama also killed the 5 sons of Draupadi. And that's why he was punished. And because of that punishment only, he was upset and he sent these 5 Brahmastras. And the one Brahmastra was directed towards Parikshit Maharaj, who was in the womb of his mother. So Lord Krishna, after the war was over, and now he knew that Yudhishthira Maharaj is going to be the king, right? Yudhishthira Maharaj was going to take up the kingdom. It was very natural that Yudhishthira Maharaj was going to be the king because the whole war was fought for one purpose, that Yudhishthira Maharaj to be enthroned as the king. Now, Lord Krishna was planning to depart for Dwarka. And that time, Kunti Maharani came there and she started to glorify Lord Krishna. And while Kunti Maharani was offering praise to Lord Krishna, at that time, Uttara comes running. Uttara is the mother of Parikshit Maharaj. She comes running there. Abhimanyu has already died. So Uttara comes running towards Lord Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Mahabhava, Mahayogin, Jagadishwara, please save me. If you want to kill me, let me be killed. But please save my child. Look at the consciousness of a mother. She is willing to sacrifice herself and want to save the baby. These days the world is difficult. These days people want to kill the baby, and they want to save themselves. What a world. Huh? What a degradation of consciousness. So, and Lord Krishna seeing the situation with Uttara, seeing the situation with Parikshit Maharaj, Lord Krishna personally entered the womb of his Parikshit's mother, and he gave darshan to Parikshit Maharaj, and he started circumambulating Parikshit Maharaj in the womb itself. And Parikshit Maharaj, this little boy, was seeing that a thumb high Lord, Lord was only thumb high in the womb, and he saw Shankha Chakra, Gada Padma, and Lord was holding Sudarshan Chakra and was, circulating this club, and he was revolving around Parikshit Maharaj to protect Parikshit Maharaj. Some of the commentators ask that Lord Krishna, while protecting the Pandavas, he just used one Sudarshan Chakra, that was sufficient. So why is he so possessive for Parikshit? Because Parikshit Maharaj was very, very dear to Lord Shri Krishna. And he just wanted to make sure that if Sudarshan fails, club is there. But he wanted to protect his devotee. That is Bhakta Vatsalya. So, Lord Krishna protected Parikshit Maharaj. And after protecting Parikshit Maharaj, Yudhishthira Maharaj was relieved. But Yudhishthira Maharaj had another problem with him. Yudhishthira Maharaj was so much convinced that he did not want to accept the kingdom. He said, I am not going to accept the kingdom. And then what happened? Dhaumya Rishi, he started to explain to Yudhishthira Maharaj, look, it is not proper, this and that. So many things were explained. Veda Vyasa started to explain. So many other rishis started to explain to Yudhishthira Maharaj, you should accept the kingdom. Whatever you did was dharma. You did not do adharma. You are dharma. You are dharmaraj. Everybody, whole world worships you as dharmaraj. You did no wrong. And then Lord Krishna, who is called as Adbhut Karmana. Krishna is called as Adbhut Karmana. He started to try to convince Yudhishthira Maharaj. And when he was trying to convince Yudhishthira Maharaj, if Krishna is trying to convince somebody, it is obvious that he will get convinced. When Krishna was, when Arjuna, when he was on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he wanted to see who have come to fight with me. So he requested Krishna, my dear Krishna, can you please take my chariot in the middle of the battlefield, in the middle of both the armies? He said, why not? Let's go. Let's have some fun. So Krishna takes the chariot in the middle, and then Krishna shoots up and said, Arjuna, look, this is Bhishma Dev. This is Dronacharya, this is your uncle, this is your, chacha, this is your bhatija, this is your this and that, this is your mama, everything. So Arjuna saw the whole family was there. And Arjuna was thinking, my God, I have spent my whole life with them, and now so that I could become a king or I should get a kingdom, I want to kill all of them. What a ruthless person I am. And he said that, Krishna, I don't want to fight. My Gandiva is going from my hand. I cannot fight. My throat is getting dried up, Krishna. And Krishna says, oh. And he said, I want to take sannyas. Arjuna said to Krishna, I want to take sannyas. Very difficult, no? So Arjuna says to Krishna, I want to take sannyas. I don't want to fight. So Krishna says, okay, let's go. So shall I announce that Yudhishthira Maharaj, that Arjuna doesn't want to fight, the match is over, the war is abandoned, let's go. Arjuna is going to take sannyas, and you also, or all of you, can plan your life. He's going to take sannyas. Not in ISKCON probably. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. So Arjuna, he decides that to take shelter of Krishna. He says he was bewildered what to do. When we are bewildered also, when we know there is a learned personality around us, we should take shelter. So Arjuna took shelter of Krishna. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava prishyamitam dharma sammuda chetta yashya shanishitam bruhitan me shishyasteham shadit mam tam prapannam. And when Krishna was accepted as Guru, then Krishna started chastising Arjuna. That you mood, you nonsense, you rascal, what are you doing? And then in 48 minutes, Krishna spoke the entire Bhagavad Gita to him. And he showed to Arjuna his universal form. And he showed how the creation takes place, how maintenance takes place, how annihilation takes place. And he also showed that all these people here who are assembled here, all have already been killed. You just have to take the credit. And if you don't want to do it, I can do it by my own, or I can ask someone else to do it. It's up to you to decide. And then Krishna explains everything about himself and his teachings, his everything. And then asked Arjuna, now you decide what you want to do. You want to accept it or no? If you want me to repeat, I can just repeat the whole thing again. Because already the war is stopped and nobody is going to dare. Can you imagine? Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita in the middle of the battlefield. I mean, the counsels were blown from both the sides, right? They blew all the counsels. And then there was a discussion. And then he took that means he actually stopped the war. Huh? And Bhishma Dev and everybody were listening very carefully. Now the Acharyas say that the entire Bhagavad Gita was heard by each and every one present there on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. How? The Vayudev made arrangement that all the transcendental vibrations were able to reach everybody's ears. And that's why this battle was very crucial, very, very special. Because usually when the people die in the battlefield, they attend heavenly planets. But here, this was the only battle whenever somebody died, it used to attend Vaikuntha planet. Because they died in front of Krishna, and Krishna has already taken away all the inauspiciousness from their life. This was the only battle when somebody died, they attend Vaikuntha planet. Because they left their bodies in front of Krishna. So Krishna convinced. And here Krishna is trying to convince Yudhishthira Maharaj. And Yudhishthira Maharaj was not getting convinced. Why? Because Krishna is called as Adbhut Karmana. Krishna from outside, he was trying to explain to Yudhishthira Maharaj that he should accept the kingdom, but from Krishna as Paramatma, and within his Yudhishthira Maharaj's heart, he was not allowing Yudhishthira Maharaj to accept what Vedavyas, what himself and Dhamma Rishi and others were trying to explain to him. What was the reason? The reason was that Yudhishthira Maharaj wanted to establish Pitamaha Bhishma's glories. Pitamaha Bhishma, who fought he lived for 400 years. He's always been on the side of Dharma. He fought so many battles. Now he is about to give up his life. And Lord Krishna wanted to glorify Pitamaha Bhishma. And Krishna said to Yudhishthira Maharaj, is it okay with you if we all can go to Pitamaha Bhishma, and Pitamaha Bhishma can explain you the truth? And Yudhishthira Maharaj immediately agreed. And he said, yes, Pitamaha Bhishma is a personality who knows as per time, place and circumstances what is Dharma. And so everybody goes there, and Pitamaha Bhishma starts speaking to Yudhishthira Maharaj. And he says, Eshavai Bhagavan Sakshat Adyunarayana Puman. This Krishna, whom you consider as your friend, as your counselor, you made him do so many things in your life. This Krishna, whom you send him as a messenger, and this Krishna, whom you consider one of your relatives, family members, this Krishna is actually Adi Narayan. Oh Bhishma! Bhishma was saying, this Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahma, Shiva are his servants. There are 12 authorities who know about glories of Lord Krishna, and they all say that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Bhishma Dev lists all of them. Give a long list of people who know Krishna. And Pitamaha Bhishma, he told Yudhishthira Maharaj, whatever he says to do, one has to do. Because that is dharma. And whatever Krishna says not to do, that is adharma. And whatever problems are there in your life, this is all because of inevitable time. And this time factor is the will of the Lord. And this time is very, very powerful. Because of this fear factor only, sun rises on time, moon rises on time, everything is functioning on time is because of the Kala, Samay, and that is the will of the Lord. So then Pitamaha Bhishma speaks about Dana Dharman, Moksha Dharman, and so many different kinds of Dharman, Bhagavad Dharman, Sri Dharman. very elaborately he describes to Yudhishthira Maharaj how one should rule the kingdom. That is in the Mahabharata. If one wants to read that, one should definitely read that. So further, Lord Krishna, he departs for Dwarka. And then there is a description about Lord Krishna departs for Dwarka. And then when Lord Krishna comes in Dwarka, how he was very nicely welcomed by the citizens there. And then again, Shaunakadi Rishis, they want to talk about the birth of Parikshit Maharaj. So when Parikshit Maharaj was protected by Lord Krishna in the womb, from after that time, after some time, at an appropriate time, Parikshit Maharaj took birth. And the Brahmanas and all the great saintly people around were welcomed. They were invited at the auspicious birth of Parikshit Maharaj. All the Brahmanas, they came there. And the Brahmanas, when they saw they did astrological calculations, they were able to know that this personality Parikshit is not ordinary. And Parikshit Maharaj, when he took birth, he used to observe each and every person, because he saw Lord Krishna in his womb of his mother. So whenever he came out from the womb of his mother, and he was observing each and every person. And is this the same person? Is this the same person whom I met in the womb? Is this the same person whom I met in the womb? No. So he was doing an examination, he was doing parikshan, and that's why his name became Parikshit. So Shukdev Goswami, so when Parikshit Maharaj took birth at an auspicious time, these Brahmanas actually predicted lot of things about him. Parikshit Maharaj had qualities of all the great personalities. He was charitable like Shubhi Maharaj. His mental equanimity was like Brahma. His strength was like, in the fight, he was like Arjuna. In so many activities, he was like Krishna. So he had all the divine qualities within Parikshit Maharaj. And such a personality took birth in the dynasty of the Pandavas. And they said, Brahmanas also said, that he is going to attain perfection in this life. Many devotees, when they meet the astrologer, they ask this, moksha milega kya? Will I attain perfection in life? The perfection in the life, yes, it is there in the astrology also, but you can also, even if it is not there, still you can attain it. So Shukdev Goswami, not Shukdev Goswami, Sutta Goswami was narrating all these pastimes, and then he narrates how Dhritarashtra Maharaj was living in the home of Yudhishthira Maharaj. After the war was over, Dhritarashtra Maharaj was living in the house of Yudhishthira Maharaj, and Yudhishthira Maharaj was feeding him, taking care of him throughout the life. Dhritarashtra Maharaj made several attempts to kill these Pandavas, and now he was living there. So Vidura, he came there, and Vidura chastised Dhritarashtra Maharaj. And this time, Vidura's instruction did not fell on the deaf ears of Dhritarashtra, because there was no Asat Sangha here. All the Asat Sangha has gone. Duryodhana has gone. Shakuni has gone. Karna has gone. And now, when Vidura spoke, his words were so powerful that it pierced the hard-hearted Dhritarashtra's heart and melted, and he was convinced that he has to go and take shelter of the Supreme Lord. And he should go to the forest. So earlier what used to happen, whenever Vidura used to instruct Dhritarashtra Maharaj, there was a re-brainwashing done by Duryodhana, Shakuni and others. But now they are gone. And Dhritarashtra Maharaj was very peacefully, he was able to contemplate on what Vidurji was saying. So whenever we get a chance, an opportunity to get association of saintly people, and when they give us instructions, those instructions, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि इस कान से सुनो, इस कान से छोड़ो, लेकिन इस कान में रहो. Many times, we go to the classes, we sit in the classes, and what happens? We hear the class of 1 year, goes out from another year. There is no contemplation in our life. We don't have time for contemplating. We are so busy in our life that we don't know what are we doing. We don't spend time on contemplating on things, on our problems, on what can be done. We don't have time. We're so busy with our WhatsApps, Facebooks, Instagrams, and poses, and so many things in our life, that we have lost that sense of contemplation. Because of that, we are puzzled, we are confused. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his daily schedule, 1 hour, 7:30 to 8:30, he kept on contemplation, especially contemplating on all the problems and the possible solutions. There are so many problems which we can come to solution on our own. Just take down the paper, write down all the problems of your life, write down all the problems of your life, and then try to make, what are the possible solutions which can be derived from that, what we can come to. Then all the breakdowns, all the possible breakdowns, what can go wrong, all the breakdowns you should mention, list them down. If you can work on this on your own, there's so much positivity will come in your life. But unfortunately, we are so puzzled and confused, and we don't have time for contemplation. Every day, spend some time contemplating. And if you heard some instructions, if you received some instruction for sadhus, and contemplate on those instructions. How can I transform my life? How can I bring those instructions in my life? How can I apply it in my life? What I need to do so that I can come to that platform which my Guru Maharaj is expecting me to come. So that contemplation has to be done. We have no time, unfortunately, for this. We're busy with our so-called material world. So, when Dhritarashtra Maharaj quit home, then there was Lord Krishna also. He went to Prabhasa Kshetra. When Lord Krishna was departing, when Lord Krishna was given some indications that Lord Krishna need to depart. So Brahmaji came, all the Devatas came, Lord Brahma came, the Devatas came to Lord Krishna at Dwarka, and they requested that, my dear Lord Krishna, you have established Dharma, you have established Yudhishthira Maharaj as a king. Now, if you want, you can peacefully go, because our work is over. Lord Krishna comes on the invitation of the sadhus, Lord Krishna goes, Lord Krishna comes on the invitation of the Devatas, Lord Krishna goes on the invitation of the Devatas. So he decided, okay, now I need to depart. So he invited all the ministers and all the people in the Sudharma Sabha in Dwarka, and he had a discussion, and Lord Krishna told that our Yadav dynasty has been cursed. So all of us, we now need to plan to go to Prabhasa Kshetra and try to do some charity and try to save ourselves. And that indication was understood by Uddhava. So Uddhava came and he met Lord Krishna in Dwarka itself. But Lord Krishna, he actually departed from the planet in Prabhasa Kshetra. So Lord Krishna instructed Uddhava that you go to Badrika Ashram, and he himself went to Prabhasa Kshetra with all the Yadavas. Very few of them were left in Dwarka. And when he was sitting on the banyan tree, was about to depart, at that time, suddenly Uddhavji came back, because Uddhavji was in separation, and Uddhavji wanted to have last darshan of Krishna. So Uddhavji was asked to go to Badrika Ashram, but then he came back from there, and he came to a place where Lord Krishna was sitting under a banyan tree, and there was also Maitreya Rishi who also came there, and Lord Krishna spoke the entire Bhagavatam to them. In Dwarka with Uddhavji, the whole Uddhav Gita was spoken, the 11th canto was spoken. And at Maitreya Rishi, when Maitreya Rishi's presence, the whole of Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken to them. So then, after Lord Krishna departed, Yudhishthira Maharaj was not aware that Lord Krishna has departed. So Yudhishthira Maharaj sent Arjuna to Dwarka to find out what's happening, because there was no information about Krishna. So when Arjuna, he came back, all the inauspicious symptoms of Kali Yuga Yudhishthira Maharaj already saw. And before Arjuna came, Yudhishthira Maharaj actually told Bhimsen that I think Lord Krishna, the soul of our life, has departed. Lord Krishna has gone. And when this discussion was in process, at that time Arjuna comes there, he was very sad, very morose, and he informed that Lord Krishna, who performed his earthly pastimes and we were fortunate to associate with him, has departed. All our strength was because of Lord Krishna. And he has departed. When Prabhupada was there, he took over the planet actually. He took over the whole earth. And his disciples, they could actually feel, that what was happening was all miracles were happening. They were able to conquer so many, establish so many temples, make so many devotees all around. And all over the planet, in all the newspapers across the world, it was only Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrit been spoken. That was the presence of a devotee. So imagine when Lord Krishna was himself on the planet, what could have happened? There was auspiciousness all around. And Lord Krishna departed. Kali Yuga actually started, but he could not show its influence because Lord Krishna was there on the planet. And as soon as Lord Krishna departed, all the inauspicious symptoms were visible. And Yudhishthira Maharaj decided that we don't want to stay now. They don't want to stay because they saw a time when Lord Krishna was there. And they decided to retire. So there was then when the Pandavas they went to the north, Gandhari and Subhadra, Draupadi, and they also departed. So Pandavas, they retired and they gave the kingdom to Parikshit Maharaj. Now Parikshit Maharaj was such a personality, was such a king that he was able to control control Kali Yuga. Although Kali Yuga was able to show its influence, but Parikshit Maharaj was so powerful that he chastised Kali. When Parikshit Maharaj was on Digvijay, when he was traveling across different places in the world to make sure that the administration was proper, he met Kali Yuga in person. And when he met Kali Yuga in person, when Parikshit Maharaj met Kali Yuga, he wanted to kill him. But Kali Yuga surrendered to Parikshit Maharaj. And when someone surrenders to you, then you should forgive. Many times what happens when devotees do, when someone commits mistakes and he comes and asks for forgiveness, then we should forgive that person. Not that after asking forgiveness also, we are still, we should let it go. We should also forgive. And just move on with our lives. There are so much grudges we keep against others that our progress of Krishna consciousness is stopped. That little dealings, for years after years, we still remember that grudge against someone, we carry that forward years after years, and we are actually stopping our inner progress of Krishna consciousness. Externally, we might be passing our time in the moment, but internally, there is no progress because we still have grudges against others. Because they have committed some small mistakes, even though they might have asked forgiveness from us, but we are not willing to give it. Parikshit Maharaj, when he saw Kali Yuga, he wanted to kill, but Kali Yuga came and surrendered to Parikshit Maharaj. And Parikshit Maharaj, okay, I will not kill you, but you cannot stay in my kingdom. And Kali Yuga said, sir, this is my time. I am Kali Yuga. This is my time. How can you say I should not stay here? This is my time. Mera era hai, bhai. अपन का टाइम है, अपना टाइम चल रहा है अभी. This is my time. How can you say no? Okay, you can stay in 4 places. Where there is meat eating, where there is intoxication, where there is gambling, where there is illicit activities, in those places you should stay. When Srila Prabhupada established this, no meditating, no illicit sex, no intoxication. Where is the source of this? This source is here in Bhagavatam. So the source is Srimad Bhagavatam. This Parikshit Maharaj gave 4 positions to Kali Yuga, and Kali Yuga started to laugh. He said, "Sir, these are the places where I naturally reside. At least give one special place." He said, okay, wherever there is gold, you can reside there. When I say this, now there are so many questions. यार घर पे इतना सोना पड़ा है, बदन में इतना सोना पड़ा है, इसको क्या करने का? So, पता नहीं. So Parikshit Maharaj, there was an unusual incident in his life also then. And so many people, they say, lok mein baat rehti ki Parikshit Maharaj was influenced by Kali Yuga. Parikshit Maharaj, while he was once traveling and in the forest to protect the sadhus, previously what used to happen, you can come ahead now. There's so much space here. Come ahead. Let them sit peacefully now. Come ahead. Aage aa jao. So, a king like Parikshit Maharaj was Rajarshi. He was a Raja and he was a Rishi. He was a king, and at the same time he had all the saintly qualities. So Parikshit Maharaj, his responsibility as a king was to protect all the Vanaprasthas who were in the forest as well. The place where the rishis used to do tapasya, in the forest, that area needs to be protected from wild animals also. And it was the duty of the king. If some wild animal comes and eats a sadhu, the king will suffer. Because it is his responsibility, it is his duty to protect them. And that's why they used to travel hunting. And one such day, when Parikshit Maharaj was in the forest hunting, he felt very thirsty, he was very hungry. And he happened to go to a Rishi's ashram, Shamik Rishi's ashram. And he went there, Shamik Rishi was in meditation. He was in trance. He was not in external consciousness. And Parikshit Maharaj, he saw that, but somehow he was hungry, he was thirsty. When a husband calls a wife, look, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, please cook something. Whatever you cook, but cook. But when you come home, there is nothing prepared and the wife is sitting and watching TV. Then husband's reaction, "Arey mere ko bhook lagi, I'm hungry. Give me something to eat." So one person gets bewildered. And that was situation. Parikshit Maharaj was hungry, he was thirsty, and when he went there and there was no welcome. The king of the whole world, Parikshit Maharaj, is coming to a rishi's place and there was no welcome. There was no sweet words. There was no water being offered. Nothing was offered. So what did he do? He put there was a dead snake lying there. He picked that dead snake, put it on Parikshit Maharaj, that Shamik Rishi's neck, and he left. Now, when this Parikshit Maharaj, when he left, he regretted doing that. When he reached home, he regretted that it was not proper for me, because he was a Brahman, he was doing tapasya, and he was not in external consciousness. He thought at that particular time that he was just pretending because he does not want to welcome me. But that particular incident was actually seen by his son. Was observed by his son, or he was informed that your father your Parikshit Maharaj put a dead snake around your father. And this little boy, 7 years old boy, innocent boy. But he was given power because he was the son of a Brahmana. And in those days, Brahmanas used to have a lot of powers. And this little boy was very powerful. He started chastising Parikshit Maharaj. That how dare Parikshit Maharaj, who is like a dog, he's like a dog and he wants to eat in the master's plate. He started abusing Parikshit Maharaj. And he said that Lord Krishna has departed, Arjuna has departed. That does not mean that this dog watcher can do anything. We are there, I am there. I will show this Parikshit the result of offending my father. This 7 years old boy. And he gets angry because he was powerful. He took the water from the Kushika river and he uttered a curse that this Parikshit, this rascal Parikshit, who is like a kalank in the family of the Pandavas, he will die in 7 days from now. On the 7th day from now, the snake bird Takshak will come and kill him. And Parikshit Maharaj, when the news was broken to him that he had only 7 days left, Shamik Rishi actually sent a disciple, Gauramukh, informing Parikshit Maharaj that he had only 7 days left with him. So, when Parikshit Maharaj got the news Imagine if we get the news that we have only 7 days left with us. What will one do? Take down the pen and a page and write down, if I'm going to die after 1 week from now, what will I do? Just if I have only 1 week, what all things I will do? And we are also going to die in one of the 7 days only. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday, right? We are also going to die in one of the 7 days. हमारे लिए कोई स्पेशल दिन क्रिएट नहीं होने वाला है. So we are also going to die, right? We should know this, that our yatra in this body is also limited. So Parikshit Maharaj, when he got the curse to die in 7 days, he gave up his kingdom. He gave up his opulence. It is not easy to give it up. He gave up his kingdom. But this is, unfortunately, we spend so much time in accumulating wealth, accumulating possessions, accumulating posts, accumulating positions in this world, that when the time comes of giving it up, it is very difficult because we are so attached to it. Our original identity is that we are servants of Krishna, right? But there are so many upadhis on this body. इतनी सारी degrees है, इतने सारे diplomas है, इतने सारे PhDs है, ये है, वो है, and so many positions are there with this body, and we unfortunately, unconsciously, we identify ourselves with that, and we fail, and we, our actual identity is, what is our identity? Who am I? I'm a servant of Krishna. Jiva Swarup hai Krishna Nitya Das. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Mamai Vansho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Unfortunately, in this world, there are so many other upadhis are there with this body. And we start identifying ourselves with that. And that becomes, and we are, in the way we are attached to a particular thing, that's what we will be going to become. That is going to be our consciousness. And that is what we are going to attain in the next birth. So, Parikshit Maharaj, he gave it up. Just like one person passes stool, we don't look back. And it's, when we just pass a stool and we just carry on with the day. So Parikshit Maharaj gave it up so easily. The whole kingdom, everything to Janmejaya. And he wore a dress of a sadhu, a mendicant, and he started walking on the banks of river Ganges. Hastinapur is in Merit. From there, at least, it takes around 2-3 hours, to reach to this place where Shukdev Goswami spoke to Maharaj Parikshit. So he started walking on the banks of river Ganges. And when Parikshit Maharaj started walking on the bank of river Ganges, all the great personalities from all over the universe, when the news spread that Parikshit Maharaj, the great personality who was protected by Lord Krishna in the womb of his mother, that Parikshit who chastised Kali, that Parikshit who did not allow Kali Yuga to spread its influence, and that Parikshit who traveled globally and established dharma, and he ruled like his father, like his grandfather Yudhishthira Maharaj. So that Parikshit is now on the verge of giving up his body. He has only 7 days. So all these great personalities, all these great rishis from all around the globe, they came down. They came to meet with him, to meet him. So Parikshit Maharaj welcomed all these great personalities. All these great rishis, they came there. Devarshis, Rajarshis, Brahmarshis, they all came there. Parikshit Maharaj put forward 2 questions to them. He said, which is that activity which one always has to perform? Which is that activity which one always has to perform? And that activity which one has to perform and only has 7 days with him? What one has to do? 7 days is left with him. So Maharaj Parikshit, when he put forward these questions, all of them started discussing. It's okay.
a silent arti, because this is part of the course. So, Advika Vijay, very important.
So Parishit Maharaj, when he inquired, there was Ishta Goshti which began. There was Ishta Goshti which began amongst them, and some said, as per their understanding of the situation, they gave some various suggestions to Parishit Maharaj. But just at that time, Vyasanandan Shukdev Goswami, the personality who is an associate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appeared on this planet just to spread the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, that personality appeared there on the scene. And as soon as they saw Shukdev Goswami coming there, all these great personalities who were thousands of years old, they all stood up in respect, welcoming Shukdev Goswami. Shukdev Goswami was a son of Vyasadev, but he had also heard Srimad Bhagavatam. He is also associated with Narada Muni. He is also associated with so many other great personalities, with Agastya Rishi and so many other places. And he heard various pastimes about Lord and his devotees from various other great authorities. And then he was roaming on the earthly planet. So he was born when he was 12 years old. But when he came there, he was 16 years old. And in between, he has got opportunity to associate with great personalities. So when Shukdev Goswami came there, all these great personalities who were there, sitting there, all these Devarshis, Rajarshis, they were all expert in the science of psychognomy, Samudrik Shastra. Samudrik Shastra, by reading the face of a person, you can tell all the Bhutkal, Bhavishyakal, Vartmankal, everything of a person. It takes around 6 to 7 years to learn this science. So they all, when they saw Shukdev Goswami, all the 32 symptoms of a Mahabhagavata were present in Shukdev Goswami. So as soon as they saw Shukdev, they stood up in great respect and they told Parikshit, Parikshit, Lord Krishna has answered your prayers. He came to save you at the time of birth, and now he has personally appeared in the form of Shukdev Goswami and has come to deliver you. Go and take shelter of Shukdev Goswami. So Parikshit Maharaj went and offered prostrated dandavats to Shukdev Goswami, gave him elevated seat and worshipped him, offered prayers, and he said, Gurudev. And Shukdev Goswami, who knew the 2 questions which were asked, already he knew. He was like as powerful as Supreme Lord. He said, answer to your both of question is the same, Parikshit Maharaj. And that is Srimad Bhagavatam. Answer to both of question is Srimad Bhagavatam. So that completes the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam with that discussion. And then furthermore, I'll quickly summarize the second canto. Second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it begins with Shukdev Goswami answering questions by Parishit Maharaj.
Before you start the second, can you give a round of applause for the first one?
So the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is called the Cosmic Manifestation. Okay. It is a foundational canto that lays out the basic principles of the Vaishnava philosophy, including the nature of the God, the nature of the soul, and the universe. The canto begins with a discussion of the first step in God realization, which is to understand the Supreme Lord. And because Supreme Lord is the only reality, right? So, if you see everything else in this world is illusion except for the Supreme Lord, everything, if you want to have genuine happiness, in this world we are all looking for love and all looking for happiness. We're all looking, we are having these relationships we have our husband has a wife, these relationships are there in this world. We have children, we have friends, we're all looking for one thing, love. We're all looking for, and that every relationship we are looking for happiness. But unfortunately, we all get dissatisfied with every relationship we have. We're never satisfied with whatever we have. The husband has a problem with the wife. Wife has a problem with the husband. They're staying in the one room. They're staying in the one house for years. But they still cannot go well with each other. But then they understand, after 2 years of marriage, they understand. They fight after the marriage, 2 years is spent in fighting. The egos clash. And then after 2 years, they realize that there is no point. We just have to adjust and compromise. They both have a discussion that adjust करना पड़ेगा, compromise करना पड़ेगा, हम गाड़ी चला लेते हैं. हाँ? So then that goes on, and this is just we just drag our relationship. We don't want to invest our time in and that's why we don't. The suffering is more then what happens is that the couple or the couple or any relationship for that matter, we fail to invest time to improve on it. That is another thing. So, Lord, if one wants happiness in this world, the happiness is there only in performing devotional service to Supreme Lord Hari. Everywhere else, because our original relationship is with Krishna. Tomeva mata cha pita, tomeva bandhu cha sakha, tomeva vidya dravinam, tomeva sarvam mama deva deva. He is our real father, he is our real mother, he is our real friend, he is our everything. Krishna is our everything. So what Krishna wants from us? That we develop a loving relationship with him. When we come here, when we offer obeisances to Lord Krishna, he takes away all the inauspiciousness from our life. Sarva amangal hare prema diya hare man. When you offer obeisances to the Lord, he takes away all the inauspiciousness from our life. If we are going to meet with an accident or there are some inauspicious things which is going to happen with us, everything will be removed by the Lord. And then he gives himself to his devotees. So that is the glory of the Supreme Lord. He'll Sarva Amangal Hare. All the inauspiciousness is removed. That's why coming to temple, offering obeisances, chanting the holy name, taking his darshan, hearing his katha should be natural for us. And all the inauspiciousness will be removed, and we will develop our relationship. When we are hearing Krishna Katha more and more and more, initially the attraction will be for all the incarnations. We'll be hearing all the avatars of the Lord, but then gradually our attraction will develop for a particular incarnation. Let's say one develops attraction for Narasimhadev, or let's say one develops attraction for Lord Ramachandra or Lord Krishna. Then gradually one will have this, when one hears more and more pastimes about that particular avatar, then he will develop a particular rasa that he wants to serve the Lord in Vatsalya, in Madhurya, in Sakhya, in different ways. So that will, so by hearing Harikatha, by reading Bhagavatam, by speaking about it, gradually one makes advancement in Krishna consciousness. So it's a very important. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam is there in Vaidhi Bhakti and also in Raganuga Bhakti. In both the places, this is applicable. The process is the same. So the second chapter, yes, the first chapter actually, the Lord is present is everything and he is beyond everything. He is the causes of all the causes and he is the ultimate goal of all the spiritual seekers. Then Lord Krishna, then in the second canto of Srimad, in the second chapter of Bhagavatam, of the second canto, it discusses about Lord's presence in the heart of all the living being. The Supreme Lord is present in all our heart as Paramatma. It is not, Krishna is our ever well-wishing friend. And how is our ever well-wishing friend? He resides in the heart of everyone. He is there with us in all the species. We might be in the species of animal, we might be the species of cat, dog, any animal, any species, the Lord Krishna is there with us. And when we come in the human form of life, we can actually feel his presence in the form.
Can everybody take the joke from here?
So the Lord is there, resides in the heart as super soul in our heart. When Lord Krishna, when the Supreme Lord is there in our heart as Paramatma, but he is, our Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says he is useless. Why? Because what does he do? He just sanctions our activity as per the prarabdha karma, right? He just sanctions our activity. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that when he becomes useful, he becomes useful when actually the Jivatma in whose heart he is, he develops a desire to know Krishna. At that time, he becomes activated actually. Then when a Jivatma develops a desire that he wants to know Krishna, he wants to attain supreme perfection, that is the time when Lord Krishna actually activates and then sends devotees in the life of that person. And then that Paramatma takes the role of a Chaitya Guru and starts guiding him from within. From outside, the devotee guides him. From inside, Lord Krishna as Paramatma, as Chaitya Guru guides him. And both of them, together, they make him a devotee. And that's how a soul is saved from the cycle of birth and death. That is the glories. That is the glories of the Supreme Lord. So, the third chapter discusses about the importance of pure devotional service. Pure devotional service is anya bilashita shunyam jnana karma dhyanamritam. When Prahlad Maharaj was asked by Lord Narasimhadev, ask some boon from me. Prahlad Maharaj said, Papa, I am not a businessman. Narasimhadev, I am your devotee. I am not a businessman. Whenever when we go to a shop, or a company, that company's director, he welcomes us, gives us a seat, offers us water, or offers some drinks and everything. It is not that he loves you. It is that he wants some business from you. So we are not performing devotional service for getting some benefit from the Lord. Prahlad Maharaj is saying very clearly, I am not doing devotional service to you so that I want something in return. No. Pure devotional service is anya bilashita shunyam. So Narasimhadev, Prahlad prayed to Narasimhadev that my only prayer to you is that, please, मेरे हृदय में कामनाओं का अंकुर कभी उगे ही नहीं. Please completely remove these desires, this tendency within my life, within my heart to enjoy this material world. I don't want this tendency even. That's what I want from you. I don't want anything. I'm very happy performing devotional service. So this chapter talks about the third chapter talks about the pure devotional service. It is a selfless act of love and surrender to the Lord. When we engage in pure devotional service, we are actually performing yoga. We are actually uniting the Lord within our hearts. In the fourth chapter, it is described the Lord is the creator of the universe. But he does not create out of his universe out of nothing. He creates the universal out of himself. And this universe is simply the manifestations of Lord's energy. And then, fifth chapter discusses how Lord Krishna is the causes of all the causes. We think that in our life there are so many things affect us. In the life of the devotees, it's only Krishna's involvement. When we are performing devotional service, our file is transferred from Yamaraj's office to Lord Krishna's office. And Chitragupt deletes that whole database and is sent a mail to that this Jivatma has now started practicing bhakti. So please, here onwards, you guys directly deal with his life anymore. We are not going to interfere. This is the clear instructions of Yamaraj in 6th canto, 3rd chapter to Yamadutas, that those who have chanted Krishna's names, his fame, his pastimes, do not dare go around them. Do not even think of bringing them here. They are completely out from our jurisdiction. That means what? They are in the jurisdictions of Supreme Lord directly. This is a pramana, this is a proof that our lives, especially for devotees, our lives are controlled by the Supreme Lord. So whatever is happening in our life is happening by the will of the Lord. When we accept that, then in everything we can see Krishna's hand. We can only see, when we start to see Krishna's hand in everything, that's how we become Krishna conscious. And any problems, any obstacles in our life, Parikshit Maharaj, when he got that curse, he saw Krishna's hand in that. He did not think, kya ho gaya mere saath, itna zindagi bhar bhakti kiya, throughout the life I followed dharma, did everything, and now I'm getting this curse. No. He took that curse, that Krishna has come in the form of the curse to save me. And that curse has given Srimad Bhagavatam to this world. It is that curse that gave Srimad Bhagavatam to the world. So, Krishna is the cause of 6th chapter. It talks about Purusha Sukta. The Vedic hymn that describes that Lord is Supreme Person. So Purusha Sukta is a very important text in our Vaishnava Siddhanta. And the 2nd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam provides a very detailed explanation on this. We're not getting into a lot of details there. And the 7th chapter talks about the Lord's scheduled incarnations. The Lord takes various incarnations. In the 2nd canto as well, there are incarnations mentioned. So the Lord appears in this world, and He will continue to appear in this world. And all of them, all His appearances are mentioned in the scriptures. So do not accept any incarnation if it is not mentioned in the scriptures. Because there are people. I remember when I was 1 year I was spent in Odisha. I was in a village of Odisha. I spent 1 year in preaching actually. And while preaching, I came to know there are 4 or 5 Bhagavans, Kali Yuga avatars in Odisha itself. And when I went to the people's houses, I saw that Jagannath, next to Jagannath, where that impersonal rascals, their pictures were kept. And they were telling that Jagannath and me are the same. And now that Babaji is in jail because he raped someone. So this false incarnation, because of such false propaganda, people are losing faith. That's why we as devotees, we should study scriptures nicely. Study our scriptures nicely. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us instructions. What he has given, ki Bharata bhumite manusya janma jar janma sarthak kari karo paropkar. He has given us instructions that we who are born in Bharata Bhumi, they should take this opportunity to understand scriptures, study nicely, and preach the glories of the Lord all across the globe. This is our responsibility. We as devotees, it's our responsibility to establish Bhagavad Dharma. We all talk, we are Sanatanis. What is Sanatan Dharma? Who can give the definition of Sanatan Dharma here? What is Sanatan Dharma? We call ourselves as Sanatanis. Many of here, they might be identifying ourselves as Hindus. But we are not actually Hindus, we are Sanatanis, we follow Sanatan Dharma. But what is Sanatan Dharma? We don't know. Isn't it? Sanatan means what? Dharma means occupation. That occupation of the living entity, which cannot be separated from him at any given circumstances. That is Sanatan Dharma. हिंदी में समझाता हूं, हमारा जो सनातन कर्तव्य है, जो हमसे कभी भी अलग नहीं किया जा सकता, हमारा जो सनातन कर्तव्य है जो हमसे कभी अलग नहीं है, वो सनातन धर्म है. And what is that? That activity is performing devotional service to the Lord. That is Sanatan Dharma. We are servants of Krishna. Our identity is that Mamai Vansho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanata. We are servants of Krishna, and our duty is to serve the Lord with devotion. So, then the 9th chapter talks about that how Srimad Bhagavatam, how this Lord Krishna is answer to all the questions. So, Lord Krishna is answers to all the questions, the source of all knowledge and all the wisdom. And the Lord revealed the ultimate truth about the universe and our place in it in the 9th chapter. In the 10th chapter, it summarizes the main point of the 2nd canto, and it emphasizes on the importance of the pure devotional service and need to understand the true nature of the Supreme Lord. So, with that, we just briefly summarize the 2nd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. In the 3rd canto, in the beginning, Vidurji, he was kicked by Duryodhana. Duryodhana kicked Vidurji, his uncle, because Vidur was an obstacle on the path of Duryodhana's establishing as a king. Vidura had a Vidura Niti, very expert. These nitis, one should read these nitis. Chanakya Niti. I'm these days studying Artha Shastra and Chanakya Niti also. So there are so many things which actually helps us in practical dealings also in the society. So those nitis are very, very helpful. Srimad Bhagavatam also has so many nitis, but Chanakya Niti, Vidura Niti, this also need to be studied, because this helps us with our day-to-day dealings. So Vidurji, he when he was kicked by Duryodhana out of the palace, he took this opportunity and he went on pilgrimage all over the Bharat Bhumi. And in that meanwhile, the Mahabharata war happened. Everything, all the 64 crore people died. And Vidurji, after traveling across the Bharat Bhumi, he finally came and met Uddhavji in Vrindavan. And when Vidura met Uddhavji, he started inquiring about Krishna. How is Krishna? How is the Pandavas? How is everybody? And then that is the place where he actually came to know that Krishna has disappeared. Everybody is gone. And then while he put forward so many questions about Lord Krishna to Uddhavji, and Uddhavji, discussing them about Krishna's, he remembered all the Krishna's Brajalila, about how Krishna killed Putana, and how Krishna delivered Tranavarth and everything, so many things. And while discussing about this Krishna's pastimes, Uddhavji fell unconscious. And Vidura, he saw the symptoms of a great personality in Uddhavji. And as soon as he came back to consciousness, Vidura offered his prostrated dandavats to Uddhavji and he said, "You please accept me as your disciple. You are exhibiting all the symptoms of a great personality and I am looking for such sadhu, so please accept me." Uddhavji said, "No. I am younger to you. You are elder in age than me, and also it is not proper for me because Krishna, before he departed, he has kept some instructions for you." And Vidura heard, "What? Krishna before departing?" When Krishna was about to depart, Maitreya Rishi and Uddhavji, Krishna spent good amount of time with them. And then he told Maitreya Rishi that whatever I am speaking to you, this Bhagavatam, please narrate this to Viduraji. So Vidura, when departing, when he heard that while Krishna was departing, he kept some instructions for me. Vidura was considering himself as very insignificant. There are so many devotees of the Lord who are present on the planet, and there was a message kept for me. Imagine a spiritual master is departing the world, and he keeps a message for you. And then Uddhavji says that message is kept with Maitreya, and he is waiting for you in Haridwar. Please go. So Vidura offers pranams to Uddhavji, and then he runs for Haridwar. And that is where Vidura meets Maitreya Rishi, worships him. This is Vidura Maitreya Samvad. There are so many intimate discussion goes on about Vidura's, so many questions were put forward to Maitreya Ji about the creation of the universal form, of the creation of the material universes, and about how this creation, how this world was created, about Karanadaksha Vishnu. The Lord's first expansion is Karanadaksha Vishnu, and from the pores of Lord's Karanadaksha Vishnu's pores, innumerable universes they come. And then Karanadaksha Vishnu expand himself in each universe as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And then from Garbhodaksha Vishnu sprouts up Brahmaji, and from Brahma the whole universe is created. So all this was described. And then Brahma's prayers, how Brahma offers prayers. Brahma, when Brahma came out from that lotus flower, he was confused. What should I do? There was nobody around. He was there. He was looking down. He was born from the lotus stem. So Brahma was looking down. Who is down? Niche ke floor mein kaun rehta hai? So he went to that stem and he was trying to find out the root of who is the root. But Brahma could not find out. He went for ages after ages, years after years, kilometers after kilometers. He was going down. He could not find the source. So Brahma decided, let me go back. So he came back and he sat on that seat, and there was a voice, tapaha, tapaha, tapaha. And Brahma performed devotional service. He performed tapasya. And then Lord manifested in front of him. And the Lord showed him his own abode, the spiritual world, to Brahma. And the Lord empowered Brahma to create this universe. And then when Lord empowered Brahma to create this universe, Lord also said that I am available to you. Whenever you want, I am as a friend, I am available to you. And Lord shook hands with Brahma. So when you should learn from this, When somebody, you should learn from Krishna that someone, you are empowering someone to do your job, right? At the same time, you should be very friendly with him and be available to him whenever he wants. Not that just dictate on him. Become a leader, not the boss. So, Lord Krishna, he shook hands with Brahma and he said, all the best. Whenever you need me, you can call me. So then Vidura also asked about the calculation of time from the atom, and then there was then how 4 Kumaras were created, how 4 Kumaras manifested from Brahmaji, and then Hiranyaksha. Then there is a description about Jaya and Vijay. They were cursed by 4 Kumaras. You know, 4 Kumaras, they wanted to visit Vaikuntha. The 4 Kumaras were actually, initially, when they came, they were Brahmavadis. You know. So when they wanted to take darshan of Lord Vaikuntha-nath, so they went to Vaikuntha Loka. Now, there are 2 kinds of Vaikuntha. One is the Maha Vaikuntha, which is in the spiritual world, and one is local Vaikuntha, Prapanchika Vaikuntha. There is a local Vaikuntha office. That is called Shvetadip. That is also called Dhruvaloka. And that is also called local Vaikuntha, Prapanchika Vaikuntha. So these 4 Kumaras, they went there and they were stopped. Hey, bacche log, kya kar rahe hai pe? Kids, what are you doing here? I said, we are not kids. We want to see the Lord of Vaikuntha. I said, he is busy now. And then he said, you cannot go inside. And they said, we cannot go inside? And they cursed that you are not fit to stay here. And he cursed, they were cursed to take birth as demons. So they became, the first was Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, then Ravan and Kumbhakaran, and then Shishupal and Dantavakra. So when Hiranyaksha when he was born, when Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu were born, Hiranyaksha took the whole earth and he hid in the Rasatal. And he shook the whole universe with this act of his. And then Lord Varahadev, he came as boar incarnation, lifted the earth and made it situated back in its original place. And then Hiranyaksha became very upset. And Hiranyaksha and Supreme Lord had a fierce fight. And you know, this fight was so fierce fight that Lord Vishnu, Varahadev still considers that Hiranyaksha jita a match. Because Hiranyaksha was so powerful fighter. Actually, it was Lord's arrangement that the 4 Kumaras would come to Vaikuntha and Jaya and Vijay will get cursed because Lord wanted to experience Virya Ras. And who can give pleasure to the Lord in fighting? Oh, ordinary Chinnu Munnu cannot do that. No, ordinary fighters, what pleasure they will give to Lord Krishna in fighting? When someone wants to, when someone like Bhishma Pitama is qualified enough to give pleasure to Lord Krishna in fighting. But like Duryodhana and all, they're machads. Vishwanath Chakra Thakur, I will say when Vishwanath Chakra Thakur, when he was comparing the strength of Pitama Bhishma with the Pandavas, he said that the Pandavas are like mosquitoes. Yes. Pitama Bhishma was a very powerful personality. In 400 years of his life, he did not lose one battle. That powerful he was. And then there was Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha was killed by the Supreme Lord. And then there was the pregnancy. It described the pregnancy of how it was described how the Diti became pregnant, and because of Kashyap Rishi and this Hiranyakashipu were born at a very inauspicious time. And because of that, all the inauspiciousness was created. So their mention is there, and then there's a description about marriage of Devahuti and Kardam Muni. So that we will start discussing from tomorrow. Okay? So today we reach the 3rd canto, 28th chapter around. So from tomorrow onwards we'll discuss about the marriage of Kardama and Devahuti. From there we'll discuss further. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Any questions we can take?
questions, anybody? Any comments? Did you all enjoy it? Yeah, I was feeling sorry for some people who are not familiar with so many names. They wouldn't know who's Maitreya, who's whatever.
No problem.
But because we do, and then it was very, very nicely chronologically done. For those who don't know it, they might be thinking, do these personalities matter and whatever? They do. And the more you read it, because please hear it throughout, don't worry about that. You can make a note who's, Maitreya, who's so-and-so, just write it down. And later on you'll find, after you hear it several times, each one is individual, they're very special. And once you understand them, you understand their questions, and you understand, the answers given to them. And they will inspire you to understand it, their perspective. Why did they ask that question? You might not have that question there, but Bhagavatam is written in such a way that that personality will ask a question which you don't have yet, but if you accept what they're saying and the answer, one day in your life, that answer given, you'll have the same question, realize, okay, somebody already asked that question. So history repeats itself. You got a question?
So my request to all of you is that make sure that you make your presence for the next 7 days. Yes, because if you can get this, if you're there, then it will give us an encouragement also to speak. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
So Narad Muni in his previous life,
Yes.
he was son of Dasiputra.
Yeah.
Dasi was Dasiputra. Which was that in this cycle of the universe, or was it in a different universe?
Different.
I was going to say.
What was that question?
So Narad Muni, because he was Dasiputra, he would be in the different universe.
Yeah, because when he left the body, it was a time for the universal, all the universes, that universes merged in Brahma. Brahma went into them. Then when it came back, the Brahma was created, and from that, all the Manas Putras were there of Brahma, and from that Narad Muni came. Brahma, with a special visa to travel across the world.
So I had another question. Parikshit Maharaj, between him taking darshan of Lord Vishnu in the womb and being born, did he actually get to meet Lord Krishna then? Or did Lord Krishna already left in that?
No, Lord Krishna was there. He got the chance to meet him.
Right. Okay. So how long as well did the Pandavas rule for after the Battle of Kurukshetra to Yudhishthira Maharaj leaving?
How many?
How many years did Yudhishthira Maharaj actually rule for after the Battle of Mahabharata?
Exact date I don't have, but no, a good amount of time. Short. No, because that kingdom of Yudhishthira Maharaj is compared, to Ramarajya. Yeah. So when Yudhishthira Maharaj was a king, everything was happening properly. The rainfall was happening on its time. The crops, the earth was giving proper. When Prithu Maharaj, he became very upset with Mother Earth because she was not giving appropriate food grains to the citizens. So when Yudhishthira Maharaj was the king, everything was happening systematically. The whole earth was functioning. Now this, at the current moment, the earth is not functioning properly. It's summer, but still it rains. Then there is extreme winter. But so all these things are there: extreme sun, extreme wind, floods, everything. Is everything improper? Earlier, everything was under the control of the king. The king used to control everything. The devatas used to work cooperatively with the king. Everything is managed by the devatas. But when there is a pious king, like Yudhishthira Maharaj or Parikshit Maharaj, then the devatas and the king used to work in cooperation. The human beings and the devatas work cooperatively. That was the Siddhanta, and that's why when the king is pious, the Yudhishthira Maharaj's time also, Parikshit Maharaj's time also, when Parikshit Maharaj was doing a lot of yagyas, they used to see, the devatas used to come, and the people in general also used to be able to see the devatas. Because the king was pious, the citizens were pious. So the only, nowadays the situation is difficult. But Yudhishthira Maharaj ruled for quite a good amount of time. Probably Mahabharata can help us. I don't remember the exact date. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I wanted to ask about Shukdev Maharaj, because it is said that, like, we've come across the information that he was the pet parrot of Srimati Radharani. And what is his story? How did he become
Actually,
Goswami?
he was a pet parrot. There are two versions to Shukdev Goswami. That once that he was a pet parrot of Srimati Radharani. So, and then he came. But there is no Shastric evidence that he was a pet parrot of Radharani. But definitely one thing is there, he is the eternal associate of the Lord. Now what was his sarup, we don't know. He can be the pet parrot of Radharani. There is another version that, this parrot was, he was in Kailash, and then, then Shivaji was narrating the Bhagavatam to Parvati, and and Parvati went to sleep, and this Shukadev was humming on her behalf, and Shiva was continuing the narrated Bhagavatam because he was in trance. And then it is heard that when Lord Shiva knew that Parvati is sleeping and this parrot is hearing, so there is a saying that Shiva took his Trishul and went behind that parrot. But there is no Shastric evidence of this pastimes also. And it did not feel logical that why Lord Shiva, someone has heard Bhagavatam, why will Lord Shiva go behind him, killing him? It is not so. This story, I personal level, I feel concocted, that because there is no Shastric evidence of it. And then that parrot went in the womb of Vedavyasa's wife. The Bhagavatam's version is that who is Shukdev Goswami? Shukdev Goswami was an eternal associate of the Lord. Vedavyas, when he compiled Bhagavatam, he found nobody qualified, because Vedavyas, when he compiled Vedas, he gave it to different rishis, Paila Rishi, Sumanta Rishi, and different rishis. He distributed that task to further write commentaries on it and also to expand the preaching. But when it came to Puranas, he gave it to Puranas, and Ithiyasas were given to Romaharshan Sut, the father of Sutta Goswami Pad. Right? But when Bhagavatam was compiled, Vedavyas did not find anybody suitable, qualified for spreading its understanding. Bhagavatam is not everybody's cup of tea. Nobody who can understand Bhagavad Dharma Tattva. It is a very important point. Who can understand Bhagavad Dharma Tattva? One who is nirmatsar, who is non-envious. We need to understand this. We'll come during our discussion. We'll discuss on all these points also. But since the topic has come up, we'll discuss it. Dharma aprojita kaita vasta paramo nirmatsaranam satam. One who is non-envious person, if he is practicing devotional service, he can understand the Bhagavad Dharma Tattva. Otherwise, it won't be revealed to him. How will Bhagavatam reveal to us? How will Bhagavatam reciprocate with us if we are non-envious and we are sincerely trying to understand Krishna? Then Bhagavatam will reciprocate with us. So this, when Vedavyasi, he prayed to Krishna, and Krishna sent this personality as Vyasadeva's son. But you can identify that Vyasadeva is not an ordinary person. His wife was also not ordinary. And that's why Shukdev Goswami, when he came, he stayed in the womb for 12 years. And staying in the womb for 12 years, Vedavyas used to talk to his son. That, beta, kya chal raha hai? Bahar aane ka plan hai ki nahi? He said, Pitaji, what shall I do coming outside? I am very happy in this womb. You are there, you are there outside, you manage. I am happy in the womb of my mother. Lord Krishna's Maya, Lord Krishna's external energy is very powerful, and I don't wish to come out. Then Vedavyasji went to Dwarka. Krishna was there. He called Krishna. And Krishna came. It's in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. That Krishna came and said, Shukdev, come out. Don't worry, my Maya won't touch you. So Shukdev Goswami, when he came out, he should have stayed with Vedavyas, but he walked straight to forest. And Vedavyasji, he was behind Shukdev, Shukdev, Shukdev. And Shukdev Goswami did not turn. He just went and he was in the forest. But Vedavyas also was smart. Vedavyasji started teaching Bhagavatam to his disciples. And then he used to send his disciples to sing the Bhagavatam verses in the forest. And Lord Krishna's glories are very powerful, very attractive. Krishna's name, fame, pastimes are very powerful, very glorious, very attractive. When Shukdev Goswami heard that, Aho bakiyam stanakalakutam jighansavayadapyasadavi. And when he heard that Varha Pidam Natvarvapu Karnayo Karnikaram, when Shukdev Goswami heard these verses, Shukdev Goswami got attracted to it, and he went to that people, what are these verses? And he said, your father has written 18,000 such verses. Why don't you go to him and talk directly? So that Shukdev Goswami, who was in Brahmananda and he was experiencing transcendental happiness in the forest, that Shukdev Goswami, after hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam verses, returned to his father, and the father said, sit down. There is 18,000 verses, and then the whole Bhagavatam was recited. Hare Krishna.
There's one question.
Yes.
My question is about this concept of universe mentioned everywhere. I mean, what is universe and what is galaxy? Is there a word for galaxy in the Bhagavatam? Because we hear that there are many, our galaxy is the Milky Way, and there are millions of galaxies.
I have,
a collection of galaxies or what?
I have, expert is here, he can answer your question. What is galaxy? I can only understand from Bhagavatam, I can explain things.
Universes and galaxies. From what I read, that even the stars, many of them, it's actually written that they are sages, and this reflecting off the bubble of the universe. And recently scientists have found out that many of the stars were being mirrored, and they even realized, hold on, I think these are being reflected off the actual shell of the universe. So even different galaxies and all that kind of stuff, what I would take is the Vedic version, because realistically speaking, scientists can only tell what they can see, and our vision's imperfect. So if you're depending on things like telescopes and all that to try and judge, they can even, the distance between galaxies, Vidarbhuru will tell you, they calculate it based on the drift, and then they can see from there. So many of it is assumptions based on what's observable, but what's observable isn't 100% because our senses aren't perfect. So the Vedic version would be what I would take rather than whatever kind of the scientists are saying.
Thank you. Perfect.
Question, the scientific version is
A universe is a whole collection of galaxies, yes, and the Milky Way is one galaxy.
There are multi-universes.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
they're realizing now that what our scriptures say is actually true.
There are innumerable, as per Srimad Bhagavatam, when Lord Karnadaksha Vishnu, when from him unlimited universes come out, and in each universes, Lord expands himself into Garbhodaksha Vishnu, from the Brahma comes out, and there are unlimited planets been created. And in all these planets, in all this, in universes, nothing is empty. The scientists, they think that these places are empty, but none of these places are empty. Everything is fully occupied. We, with our limited understanding, we say that this Mars and all these places are empty. Nothing is empty. Everything is occupied.
One more question. You said that Parikshit's future was known by the rishis and all that.
Yeah.
Did they also know that about the snake story? And
Yes. It was told to Yudhishthira Maharaj that Parikshit Maharaj is going to get cursed, and in his last 7 days he's going to hear Bhagavatam from Shukdev Goswami, and is going to attain perfection. So it was known to him. Yeah. Even Parikshit Maharaj knew that, because Parikshit Maharaj, when he met Uddhavji in Braj, that's a very long story. And when Uddhavji in the Braj, that Uddhavji was planning to speak the whole of Bhagavatam, he spoke for 1 complete month to the queens of Dwarka. And that time Parikshit Maharaj, Vajranab and the queens of Dwarka was there in Braj Mandal, in Govardhan, Kusum Suravar. This Bhagavatam was recited by Uddhavji. At that time Parikshit Maharaj was told by Uddhavji that you go and chastise Kali Yuga, because I am speaking Bhagavatam and Kali Yuga will try to interfere, so I don't want that. So you go and chastise Kali Yuga. You take control of him. And that's why, because then Parikshit Maharaj, from there, he was on a Digvijay, and that's where, while on Digvijay, he was traveling across and meeting all the kings, and that's where he met Vajranab in Mathura. And then Vajranab was, sad because nobody was staying in Braj at that time. So he called Shandilya Rishi, and then Shandilya Rishi ordered Parishit Maharaj, bring all the people who are staying from Mathura, who went at distant places, bring them all back. And then under the guidance of Shandilya Muni, he divided all the towns and villages of Brajmandal as per Krishna's pastimes. So during that time when Uddhavji was narrating this to Queen of Dwarka, he requested Parishit, now you go. And Parishit asked, so how will I hear? At that time he said, don't worry, whatever I am speaking in 1 month, Shukdev is going to speak to you in 7 days. So go. So that's why this was in his mind, and that's why when he got that curse, when he got that curse, he know that it's time to take shelter. That it was not that he was communicating with Shukdev Goswami. No, if Lord has arranged already. So when Parishit Maharaj got cursed, he decided this is a time for me to give up everything. He gave up everything and started walking bank of the Ganges. And Shukdev Goswami was also inspired by the Lord, and he also reached on the same time to meet Parishit Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Come on, another round of applause for this. Oh, you have a question?
If he had a question.
That'll be the last question now. It's the last question. And tomorrow, if you come, you can ask the question. So don't forget the time, there's some guests.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I repeatedly tell people in here,
Yeah.
our congregation and when we get in classes, that ISKCON is the best spiritual educational institute in the world.
Yeah.
Right? It's wonderful. The level of depth we can go into understanding our scriptures. We mentioned Bhakti Shastri, you are doing Bhakti Vaibhav, and there's Bhakti Vedanta. Could you explain the educational system in ISKCON?
Bhagavat Mahavidya. In ISKCON?
Like Bhakti Shastri,
Okay.
the initial, then is Bhakti Vaibhav.
Yeah, so on
Just for people to realize the truth of what I say.
my whole life is around educating people in Vedic scriptures. We have 3 institutes in the world. One in India, one in Europe in Simachalam, and another one in North America in D-Land. So so ISKCON has a structure of, having Bhakti Shastri, which is Bhagavad Gita, Ishopanishad, and Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion. That 4 books. So that is Bhakti Shastri. These are 4 important books by which all your Sambandha Gyan is, cleared, and you are fixed, become a fixed up person. So Bhakti Shastri is very essential. Then comes Bhakti Vaibhava, which is the first 6 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, in a detailed study with purports and all. Then comes Bhakti Vedanta, which is from canto 7 to canto 12. That is a detailed study of the second part of the Bhagavatam. So that is, then there is called something called as Bhakti Sarabhoma. That is the detailed study of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So like that, Srila Prabhupada has established this 4 division of Shastric study, and he wanted that all the ISKCON devotees should very scrutinizingly study our scriptures. Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, Bhakti Vedanta. So if all of you want, we at Europe, in Simachalam, we are offering ourselves to collaborate with different temples and take responsibility of their Shastric education. So we can collaborate with you and start some courses here exclusively for your congregation, and have various courses. As in our institute, we just not only have this Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, Bhakti Vedanta, but we have 100+ courses on the writings of Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, starting from Jaiva Dharma to Harinam Chintamani, from Chaitanya Charitamrita to Chaitanya Bhagavat. All courses are there with us. We have served in last 3 years, for last 3.5, 4 years, we have served more than 19,000 devotees from 42 countries. From 42 countries. That's why we expanded, and now we are offering help, that if you want to make your center as a training and education center, we are ready to help you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Okay, I would like you to stand up, please, and we'll just glorify Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bolo. Om Namo
I have my book
Bhagavate
on that.
Vasudevaya.
First, one book,
Yeah.
10 pounds. Yours are Bhagavatam.
Okay.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
If you told at the start, we would have had a table.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Jai Hari Bol. Everybody.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी नयन पथगामी भाव तुम्हें जय जगन्नाथ स्वामी जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय राधा गोकुल नंदा राधा गोकुल नंदा राधे जय राधा माधव राधे गिरि गोवर्धन गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय श्री मधुसूदन श्री मधुसूदन श्री मधुसूदन जय श्री मधुसूदन जय मालिमा 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 जय मालिमा जय राधा रमन हरि बोल 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 सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 केशवधीता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे केशवधीता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहनाथ जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय गुरु महाराज जय गुरु महाराज जय गुरु महाराज निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल 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 हरि बोल
जय विश्वपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य श्री श्रीमात अभय चरणारविंद भक्तिवंत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु परंपरा की जय सर्व गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय श्री श्री सच्चिदानंद निताय चांद की जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय श्री श्री राधा माधव राधा रमन भगवान की जय भागवत कथा महोत्सव की जय ब्रजसुंदर प्रभु की जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय गौर ब्रह्मानंदी all glories to the simple liberties all glories to the simple liberties all glories to the simple liberties all glories to Sri Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj ki jai.
So, did you all enjoy that? Ah, it's very good. Children, they love it. I love their dancing. Give the children a big round of applause. Yeah. Now, a short introduction to this beautiful book. When Parikshit Maharaj was about to hear the Bhagavatam, what did he do? We heard. What did he do? Did he stay in the palace? Did he stay with his family? He gave up everything to listen to Bhagavatam. I'm going to make the same request. Prabhuji said here we could die either on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. It's 7 days within the 7 days. Not the next 7 days. One of the 7 days. And you should part with 10 pounds. Parikshit Maharaj gave up his palace, his family and everything to get Bhagavatam. This is taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. You've written it, Prabhuji? Yes? Yeah, just come forward, yeah. And then he's written this, and what is it covering? So if you can.
So this has the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam in it. When Narad Muni, he was traveling across the various holy places, he finally came to Vrindavan. And Vrindavan, he saw a very unusual situation. He saw a very beautiful girl. She was sitting on the banks of Yamuna, and she saw two old men were on her lap, and there were 100 ladies who were serving that beautiful girl. So Narad Muni, he thought, who are they? So he went nearby, and as soon as the beautiful lady saw Narad Muni, she got up. Then that beautiful lady said that my name is Bhakti, and these two sons, these two old people are actually my sons, knowledge and renunciation. And so she inquires from Narad Muni, why is my condition like this? These hundreds of ladies, they were actually rivers, Gangas and Yamunas and everybody. They were serving personally Bhakti Devi. So she inquired, why I'm like that? This is also the situation of our heart. We are devotees, Bhakti is in our heart, but our Gyan and Vairagya are old. They are sleeping. So how to wake them up? By taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this book will make you fall in love with Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, this is not my book. This is writings of six chapters from Padma Puran and 2 chapters from Skanda Puran. They are combined together, and the essential teachings are supported from these 8 chapters. Their essential teaching is supported with the writings of Jiva Goswami Pad, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and all the other acharyas. 5 to 6 acharyas we have covered. So this book is talks about the glories of Bhagavatam, and I'm sure that this book will make you fall in love with Bhagavatam.
No, that's good. So I'm really requesting everybody, in appreciation of what is going to be done for the next 7 days. It's a lot of hard work. You could see it. And it's not speaking. He must have studied all this. How many years does that take? And then to put forward, and whenever there is saptah, they always talk that Dundubi Katha. All these kathas like that. So Gita, Bhagavatam Mahatmya. So if you take this book, it's only £10. You got 7 days here, you're attending, and some of you, if you're only coming for today, if you want it, please see Prabhuji's. He's got, how many copies you got?
60.
60 copies. And when you're going back to Bharat?
On 11th.
He's going on the 11th. I want him to go away smiling that the devotees appreciated what he's done and whatever. Can you appreciate for him, please? Take this, and your children will benefit because it's very straightforward English, nothing too complicated. And you will understand why we have to read Bhagavatam like that. Please don't take it easily. Bhagavatam is the book, Shastra, which will deliver you from repeated birth and death. It did it to Parikshit Maharaj. So please, I would just say, don't go without this book, because this is like the Bhagavatam Mahatmya, and Prabhuji will actually autograph it. Right, is that okay? So those who are attending all the 7 days, you can have it later on. But those who are just coming for today, if you can afford £10, please come and take, and he'll sign it. Thank you very much. Big round of applause for him, please, again. Jai. Chal, young Nimai. Aja, Sharira Vidya. Oh, you want to make a few announcements? Yeah. Sorry about that.
You can come.
You can come anyway.
Yeah. Stand tall next to me. Couple of calendar announcements. Monday, tomorrow is Guru Purnima, Vyas Puja Day tomorrow. But our celebration is continuation of glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Wow.
Okay, so that's, and it's the beginning.